Hello and welcome to another video from Software How-Tos, the final video of how to use GIMP. In this video I'm just going to briefly explain the parts of the toolbar at the top that I didn't explain in the previous videos. So let's go back to our shape here. So File, just like in any program, has shortcuts for tools such as creating a new project, from clipboard, web page, scanner, camera, screenshot, or opening a picture. You would click this and then you can select a picture from the files on your computer or from an external hard drive, flash drive, and then you can edit that in here. You can open images as layers. You can open recent images, and then save and save as are both here. Control S and Shift Control S, normal shortcuts for any program. And you can save a copy of the image. And then save and exporting are different. So in GIMP, normally in a program when you save, it would save the image. But in GIMP is a little bit different. Saving is saving the project. Exporting, which is Control E, is actually exporting the image. So to export the image, you would do Shift Control E, and that exports it as an image. And then you can choose where to save it. You can export it as PNG or JPEG or JPG. And you can select the folder where you want to save it. And that's how you export the image, not the save. And then there's print, page setup, and then the quit, which is Control Q. Now, edit. These are just shortcuts for a lot of the tools you can see over here. It's cut, copy visible, paste, Control X, Control C, Shift Control C, Control V, Control Alt V. These are all the shortcuts that most people know. And these are just buttons up here if you would rather use the buttons in the toolbar instead of using the shortcuts. And then there's clear, this is delete key, just shortcuts. Select. I've already gone over this in a previous video, but these are all the options for your selection that you've created using the tools over here. View. This is just a complicated way of viewing different parts of the image you're creating. So the image, this is what you can do to the image. These are tools for the image you are working on. You can duplicate the image, Control D, another common shortcut. You can change the mode, precision, color management. Most of this stuff you wouldn't have to mess with unless you really want to change your image a lot. Transform, that's another shortcut. Transforms tools are already down here, but if you would rather just do it from the toolbar at the top, then you can do that. It's transform tools. Canvas, you can change the canvas size. You can fit the canvas to the layers. Print, scale, crop to the content, zealous crop. You can flatten the image and merge visible layers. So I will show these in a minute. Guides, configure and properties metadata. Layer. So these are all the functions to edit the layers. When you have a floating selection, you can edit that layer. You can create a new layer from visible. These are all creating layers. You can duplicate the layer or delete the layer. You can also right click over here in the layers, as I showed before. Stack, mask, transparency, transform. These are all more shortcuts, and this is all for the layer. I will show the transparency in a minute because removing the background, there may be a bit of confusion. Moving the background, and that's because of the alpha channel, which I'll explain in a minute. Colors. These are just the colors, changing the colors, what you can do with the tools. Tools, already been through this. These are the selection tools, the print tools, the transform tools, just more shortcuts. So the test bar in GIMP is mostly just shortcuts. These are the filters that you can add. And the windows, these are the docs. You can add all the dockable dialogues, which I mentioned in my first video about GIMP. And the toolbox, Control B, you can open up that. And then, of course, GIMP has its own help area. So the two things I wanted to mention before I end this video are, one, the merge visible layers and flatten image. So when I first started using GIMP, whenever I added text, I got really confused. Let me write some text here. This is text. So I wanted that to be it, right? I was done with it, and I went into the box select tool, and for some odd reason, it's only selecting this area right here, not the entire background. And if you were to draw, you can't draw over here. You can only draw within the selected area. And the reason for this is that this selected area of the text isn't actually a part of the entire background. In order to change this, you have to right-click in the layers area, or in the toolbar, like I showed earlier. You can either do flatten image or merge visible layers. So merge visible layers just merges all the layers together. Click merge, and everything's merged. And so now you selected the entire thing, and now when you want to draw, you can draw over the entire image. The other one, let's undo that, is flatten image. Flatten image is a little quicker. All you have to do is click it, and it's all flattened. It looks like it does the same thing, but for example, if you had transparency in the background, when you flatten the image, it would make it all the background color. It would be all white. It would get rid of the transparency. So that's why merge visible layers works a little bit better. But flatten images has its own differences. So the one other thing I wanted to mention before I end this video is transparency. Say, for example, I wanted to make all the white transparent. And so I got the select by color tool, I selected all the white, and I click delete. Nothing happens. Delete key won't work. Why is that? Well, guess what? When you created the image, you set the background as white, so it doesn't know that there's supposed to be transparency underneath it. So what you need to do is you need to add an alpha channel. It's the transparency in the background. So you go to Layer, Transparency, Add Alpha Channel. And so now, when you select the white and you delete, there's transparency in the background. So that's it for this video. That's it for the series of how to use GIMP. Hopefully you found this overview of how to use GIMP helpful, and hopefully you'll get started on using GIMP to create images and edit images. Thank you for watching. Please do not forget to subscribe and like the video.